Welcome to Venice, Italy in October of 2024. Hey everyone, I'm Patrick from Oakland Travel. The Norwegian Viva would be our cruise ship for a 9-night Mediterranean cruise, but it wouldn't start until a day or so after this little detour right here in Venice. The ship was going to sail out of Ravenna, Italy, and so we decided to come into Venice, which was of course the big major international airport we were going to essentially fly into anyway. So of course Venice is Venice, and it's like could not turn down the chance to spend a couple of days in Venice. So we did. So gondola ride here in Venice, and 11 o'clock in the morning. So time for some lunch. So a lot of Americans on this tour here. There's some of our tour compatriots right there. Absolutely amazing time in Venice. Flew in on, let's see, what did we fly in on? Like a Wednesday night? Or no, I'm sorry, it was a Monday night. I can't even keep track anymore. We had about a day and a half in Venice before we had to take the train over to Ravenna, which is about 2.5 hours sort of south of Venice. And so we had enough time to get down to Ravenna like the night before the cruise would embark. We did like a little excursion down there in Ravenna, got a chance to see that a little bit. So we used the website Viator. It's viator.com. And that's where we typically book our just regular sort of land-based things like this. And so we kind of typically will make the reservations, like the flights and the hotels and everything, and then start to fill in the blanks with excursions like this right here as we get a little bit closer to whatever the trip is. And of course this one was essentially a cruise vacation. It's just we tacked on a couple of days at the beginning to do our own little land deal. But Venice itself was absolutely amazing. Very, very, very interesting. Walking everywhere. You see the water right here. This was a trip. You see the boots, right? Because of the tide, the water starts coming up from the places in the middle where the drainage ports are. So as the tide rises, you get closer and closer to peak high tide. You see the water coming up right there. Yeah. Yep, we're already. Yeah, I think she said 1 o'clock was like peak high tide. Yeah. So that's where all the water in the middle is coming from. So there's a thing there, and there's a thing there. Yeah, I know.
No, prima che ha messo un file potrei.
I have to find it too. Oops, get them a little snack. Here's a good illustration of the flooding. Where it's water's coming up from right there. And so you can see the water right there. There's another one down there, another one farther down.
Oh my god! I don't know.
Music down there or something. Oh, live musicians.
Stimmt, beim Hotel gibt es ja eh nichts, gell? Könnten ja noch hier einen
What?
You're like motioning to me.
Oh, well, I was pointing at this. Sorry.
And you get like unencumbered, view of what's happening. All the noises. In the moment, this is what it sounds like, it looks like. When I said, what are you paying for? You know, because these places being so expensive around.
Oh, yeah.
I said it would hardly.
I heard the view. Yeah. Tours everywhere. Tours. Literally every direction I turn, there's a group of tours. Yeah, I don't know.
And if it's like the Duomo stairs.
Jeez, look at this. How crazy this is compared to when we were over here earlier. We were here just an hour ago.
No, a me piace che invece che avere un po' di vita.
And I'm sure, I hope I get to go inside, but I'm afraid of backwards of Venice.
So these platforms right here that look like they're sort of part of some sort of staging, these are actually meant for you to walk on as the water reaches like a higher level and the entire area kind of becomes flooded. It's just absolutely crazy until you see it in person. And then later on, not too long after this video was recorded, I think it was raining, and there was just water everywhere, and so a lot of rain, and then of course with the tide and everything coming up through the ground like that, like I was describing earlier in the video, and you see umbrellas and stuff. I mean, just one of those things. You just have to be able to roll with it. We did not have any sort of protection for our shoes. That was the one thing we kind of screwed up on. We saw people walking around with those full plastic covers over their shoes, but we did not investigate further to get our own, which we should have done. So let that be a lesson to you. If you're coming to Venice and you're going to be in an area like this where the tides could potentially flood the Piazza, you've got to make sure you're ready for it, because we weren't. And we ended up walking through a whole bunch of water. Shoes were soaked. And we had a pretty decent little walk all the way back to the hotel before we had a chance to get the shoes off. And then we were literally using a hairdryer in the bathroom of the hotel trying to dry the shoes out, because we didn't have the proper protection to keep them from getting wet from all the water and the rain and everything here when we were on this part of the tour. Lady right there with the green bag, that is our tour guide. She was very, very good at her job. So we had an excellent time with her touring around and everything. And Venice, like I said, is just absolutely amazing. I could go back to Venice over and over and over again. I don't know that I'd want to live there, but to visit, absolutely.
Pistä naapa, mitä liikenteessä ei ole. Sì, schita il grado, schita il liter, punta del portato. Wir haben noch heutzutage die Reliquie des Heiligen Markus. Sie können noch auch eine Trennung hier zwischen Kirche und Altar.
Embellished with us. These are statues, as well as both the rings we're going to see in the palace, was realized in the second half of 1500. The palace was built in 1300.
I don't know. This is that tower that we were seeing. Yeah. Well, I don't know if this one leans. The leaning one was somewhere else.
Oh.
There's water right down there. Yeah. Remember, we go back around this way because we came in and like right there. Yeah.
I lost sight of you. I was waiting.
Everybody's wanting to go inside. Yeah. Seems like a weapon. I got hit by one earlier.
Impaling off things. Not to mention when it starts to get windy, they're going to be useless.
Yeah, I got hit by one of them earlier.
You okay?
Oh yeah, it was nothing. It was more no, it was like, I don't know, like shoulder or something. It was just more of an annoyance. Yeah, see, like it's about to blow in on him because of the wind. Yeah, it's back this way. Remember, this was the meeting point.
Yep. Only keeping your head and your shoulders dry down.
Yeah.
And that's what a raincoat does, without having to hold on to anything. That's why I said it was like, it wasn't even an option for me. I was like, nope, raincoat. It's just a matter of whether I can bring the short one or the long one. Probably should have bought the long one because when you had the other places that we went to during the cruise, I have the same kind of weather.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I know where we can go.
That one has more taste.
That's probably what that's running.
It's like mid-afternoon. 2:45. It's like 2:45, so you're like in between lunch and dinner, and it's like all these places are packed. It's raining. Second day in Venice. Down this little walkway here.
Well served.
And it is raining and windy. Got our Google Maps going here. Ooh, look at all the food. All the food, sweets, all kinds of stuff. Italian leather. Pizza.
Sì, sì, sì. Una mezza riunione perché so che c'è un festival ieri.
Yeah, none of this looks familiar.
Well, we may not have been through here before. This is just Google taking us back.
Want to make sure we're going the right direction.
Oh, it's right here.
Okay. Do you see the end point is the hotel?
Yeah,
Okay. So what?
we're kind of heading straight
Where
forward
are
now.
we now? Does it show you? Hang on. Is it like a square?
Campo Vidal. Oh, Campo Stefano. Look to your left. Left. Well, you're facing left. Ooh, I wonder what that is. What are? Oh, are those shoes? What are those? Yeah, they look like shoes.
Very colorful shoes.
Very colorful.
And there's no store name.
Well, it's on the black wall.
Oh, okay.
We are turning right at Campo Vidal, which should be down here. And these plants are straight ahead. Yep, snack bar San Vidal. Chorus culture. Oh, there's an orchestra playing in there. Please don't enter. Up there doing some practice. Practice makes perfect. Trying to keep the front of the glass clean here.
I wonder what star was
I don't know.
it? Greenhouse. Your ghosts are mine. Standard symbols.
And of course, a cafe. Like we got a decent sized bridge coming up here to our left. The Ponto Gustiano. We're on our own at this point, walking back to the hotel. And I mentioned earlier in the video about rain and water everywhere and umbrellas and just, you know, it was, this was October. It was kind of early October. You know, it's just kind of one of those things you've got to be prepared for. You never know, like, what the weather's going to be, wherever you're going to be. And so we had all of the usual stuff. We had the waterproof backpacks, the whole 9 yards. We had everything we needed except, like I mentioned earlier, the covers for the shoes. That was the one thing we did not quite anticipate. But right here, we're getting ready to walk over one of the main canals in Venice. And so you get a really good look here in just a second at all of the boat traffic and just the canals and the look that is quintessential Venice right here.
Non è facile poi,
Here's the water bus. Service. So you could get a water taxi from right down there. That's what those people are waiting on right down there. Water taxi. Ooh, look at this over this side. Water bus coming in for a landing. Move on? Yeah. Okay. Let me get the Google map fired back up here. Alright, here we go. Some of these guys are boats funny. And yet another cafe. Probably amazing food, just like all of the others. Yes, I think so.
What's that big body of water that goes out to over there? Don't know.
No. I'd have to answer that later. Yeah, because we're coming in kind of north of the hotel, so you go down the sidewalk.
That answers the question. If there's anything on this side. No.
Well, because see, there's even more stuff over there, but I don't know what that is over there on the other side.
No, I just meant you were talking about.
Oh, back up this way.
Yeah, coming out of it. No. Yeah, look at those waters.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that would certainly be an interesting boat ride.
Yeah, I'm glad.
So we're pretty close to the hotel here. When we get up here to the water and we sort of turn right, and then we go just a little ways down and our hotel is right there. And so we chose a hotel that was the Il Experimental or something like that. It's one of these hotels that's been around for a long time, but it has the amazing location of being right here on one of the main canals. And as you can see, the water's quite choppy out there today. It was a little bit of raining and storming earlier, and not quite storming, but just sort of rain and a lot of wind and stuff like that. But pretty cool to kind of see all of this in person. We're from Orlando, Florida, and oceans and all that are not right at our doorstep. And so this is just a whole different look than what we're used to. And Italy itself is just absolutely amazing. We come back to Italy whenever we get a chance. First time in Venice, hopefully not the last time. Wind, a little bit of rain, turn the lagoons into an ocean. Look at this platform just bouncing around here.
Yeah, imagine trying to get out of the water taxi.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
That would have been fun. Getting in and out of the water taxi in those kind of conditions. Look at all the water coming up. Our feet are already soaked from earlier. Only so much Venice you can see in 2 days.
When it's not raining.
Yeah. Everybody's a pizzeria. Yeah, there you go. Look at these people getting on and off. Life in Venice. Yeah, that's one of the water buses. This is one of the water bus stops. So this is the one that was €9 a person, I believe. So, well, we got to go over the bridge and then it'll.
That bridge, seeing that bridge.
Well, we never came this far down. You see that stuff sticking out? It's down there.
Oh, yes.
Once we get over this bridge, it'll be down on the right.
I don't even remember looking down this way and seeing the bridge.
Well, we weren't paying. Yeah, see, look, there's that big hotel thing over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gelato. We can.
Place closer to the hotel? Probably not, right? Is there a place closer to the hotel?
I don't know, because I don't know what's between here and the hotel on this side.
It's not that far, right?
No, not really. I mean,
Do you think it'll stay fine until we get back to the hotel?
oh, you wouldn't want to eat it on the way?
Not really.
Get it in like a cup or something, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that far. Hey, Google Maps says Yeah, point 2. See, right down there on the right. So just down there.
So it should be fine.
Yeah.
Get it to go.
Gelato. Alright. Venice. 4:30 in the afternoon, Tuesday, October the 8th, 2024. Windy, raining, slightly raining. Hotel is right down here on the right, where that big platform is, kind of directly to the right of that. You can see, this is what you have to deal with in Venice. See all the water? Because it just comes right up on the sidewalk. So you could end up wading in water if you're not careful. A lot of people have these plastic covers that they put on their shoes. We should have gotten some, but we didn't. See how choppy the water is here. It's calmed down a little bit out here in the canal, but earlier, I would say it's still a little bit choppy down that way. Still raining. Not like super heavy rain, just enough to be annoying. Although it does feel like it's picking up a little bit. Of course, all of the outdoor use. Nobody's eating out in this weather. It's kind of in that in between the sort of lunch and dinner time anyway, so. Water is all around in Venice, everywhere. Yeah, so look at just washing up on the sidewalk there. Yep, it just comes right in. Whole bunch of them. Look at that. Look at all that water coming in. You still can. Just go back up and come down the ramp. Gotta get to higher ground here. Oh yeah, it's picking back up. These people trying to make it with an umbrella. How well that's gonna work. Try to keep the front of the camera clear here, but that's gonna be difficult with the rain. Tomorrow morning, we check out of the hotel, take another water taxi over to the train station. That's another 70 euros for a water taxi because that's pretty much the flat rate. But with 4 pieces of luggage, it's pretty much required. So get on the train, 10:26 in the morning, start heading towards Ravenna with a change of train in Ferrara, which is kind of an interesting process because we have to do some sort of online check-in when we're at the train in Ferrara to let them know that we're on that train that we've checked in. We have tickets purchased ahead of time, but you either can check in through a website or you can check in person to let them so that they know you're there. So I have to figure out how that works. And then arrive in Ravenna, Italy tomorrow afternoon, or no, yeah, about 2 o'clock tomorrow, 1:30. Hotel is very close to the train station. Got a walking tour tomorrow night in Ravenna. Hopefully the weather's better than this. And then Thursday morning, get up to a shuttle from the hotel in Ravenna up to the cruise port to join the NCL Viva for the beginning of a 9-night cruise that ends in Athens, Greece. Fly home from Athens to Montreal and then down to Orlando.
Wild and crazy.
So I mentioned earlier in the video about our shoes getting absolutely soaked. We're almost back to the hotel here, and man, it was this was one of those things. Once we got back to the hotel, we were done for the day. Our shoes were soaked and waterlogged, and it was just, you know, we'd been going since that morning. And but look at the boats out there, look at the water taxis. Oh man, Venice is definitely a unique experience, but highly recommend it. So many restaurants and shops, and just such a unique city where you can walk around, you know, in this area, and you don't need cars. You used to notice there, you don't see cars anywhere because it's not possible. There's water all around you. You have to do water taxis to get anywhere if you're not walking. It's a very interesting setup. Oh yeah, they're probably used to the weather.
At least the bigger boats doesn't affect us as much, because those little water taxis, man,
Oh yeah.
knocked around like crazy.
1411, right down here on the right. Il Palazzo Experimental, something like that. Name of our hotel.
Yeah, there's no eating outside tonight. No
Nope.
100% chance of rain. That would have been nice, but oh well.
There it is. Only one little tiny doorway. Whew. Home away from home till tomorrow morning. Oh, our door's open. They've got us on the ground floor of the hotel. Right here, right off the lobby.